2 a.m. I don't know many people who get good news at 2 in the morning. The doorbell shattered my sleep, not once. Continuous, desperate. Someone leaning on it, holding it down. I grabbed my robe and ran downstairs. My heart pounded. Through the peephole, Sarah, my daughter, collapsed against the door frame, blood on her face, dark bruise spreading across her left cheekbone, one hand clutched to her ribs, the other gripping the doorbell. "Mom," she whispered when I opened it. Just that. "Mom." I got her inside, onto the couch. The living room light. God, the light made it worse. Her right eye swelling shut, split lip, bruises on her arms, dark purple fingerprints. She was shaking. Cold November air had come in with her. "Sarah, what happened? Did you have an accident?" She looked at me, my 40-year-old daughter, and I saw something I'd never seen before. Not pain, not shock, shame. "Mom, it was Ryan. He hit me." Her voice cracked. "He found out I knew, about her, about everything." The words didn't make sense. Ryan, my son-in-law, the man who called me Mom Linda, who fixed my computer and shoveled my driveway. Her? Ryan seeing someone? Sarah started crying, not loud, quiet. The kind of crying that's been held in too long. For 8 months. Her name is Jessica. And Mom... She grabbed my hand. "The money. He's been taking your money." I drove her to the ER, 40 minutes in the dark. Sarah dozed off in the passenger seat from exhaustion or shock, probably both. I kept checking to make sure she was breathing. The hospital at 3 a.m. is its own kind of lonely. Fluorescent lights, antiseptic smell, a drunk sleeping it off in the corner. The intake nurse took one look at Sarah and moved us to the front of the line. "Domestic violence?" she asked. "Not me." "Sarah." Sarah nodded. The nurse's face didn't change. Professional. Kind. "You did the right thing leaving. Doctor'll be with you in 10 minutes. They took Sarah back for x-rays, worried about her ribs. I sat in the waiting room with stale vending machine coffee. Wrong cup. Wrong place. Wrong everything. I should have been at my kitchen table. Saturday morning. Well, technically it was Saturday now. I should have been reading the paper. Drinking coffee from my favorite mug. Planning what to make Margaret for Tuesday's casserole exchange. Instead, I was here, and my daughter was behind those double doors. And Ryan... My phone buzzed. I almost ignored it. Then I saw the notification. Bank alert. Large withdrawal, $8,500. Account ending in 4782. I clicked it. Needed my reading glasses. Found them in my purse. Join account. Morrison Mitchell. Authorized user. Ryan Mitchell. I didn't recognize the account number. Joint account? I never opened a joint account with Ryan. I clicked into the details. Transaction history loaded. My chest went tight. Pages of withdrawals, dozens of them. $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, different dates going. Back, I scrolled and scrolled, going back 2 years. My money, tens of thousands of dollars, just gone. While Sarah was being x-rayed for broken ribs, while Ryan was, where? At home? With this Jessica woman? Spending my money? The double doors opened. A doctor came out, young woman, kind eyes. "Mrs. Morrison, Sarah's asking for you. No breaks, fortunately. Severe bruising. We'd like to keep her for observation, make sure there's no internal bleeding. But she's stable." I stood up, put my phone in my pocket. The bank alert still glowing on the screen. "Can I see her?" "Of course, room 4. I walked down that hallway. Linoleum floors, beeping machines. Sarah in a hospital bed because my son-in-law hit her. And in my pocket, evidence he'd been stealing from me. I didn't know which hurt worse. I'm Linda Morrison, 68 years old. Retired elementary school teacher. 4th grade, 40 years at Lincoln Elementary. I loved every minute of it. Well, most minutes. 4th graders can be a handful. My husband Jim died 5 years ago. Heart attack. Sudden. One day he was refinishing the deck. The next day he was gone. We'd been married 15 years. Second marriage for both of us. Good years. I live in a ranch house in suburban Ohio. 3 bedrooms, small yard, quiet neighborhood. The kind of place where people know their neighbors. Where Margaret next door brings casseroles and checks on you. Where you can leave your door unlocked if you run to the store. Though I don't anymore. Sarah's my only daughter, from my first marriage. 40 years old now. Smart, capable, independent. Became a nurse. Cardiac unit at County General. She'd wanted to help people ever since she was little. Used to bandage her stuffed animals. 8 years ago, she married Ryan Mitchell. I liked him right away. Charming, attentive. Sales manager at a pharmaceutical company. Good salary, stable. He called me Mom Linda from the first Sunday dinner. Fixed my computer when it crashed. Helped me set up online banking. Mowed my lawn in summer, shoveled snow in winter. I thought he was family. Over those 8 years, I helped them when I could. That's what mothers do. They were building their life together. Young couple. Expenses pile up. I understood that. $28,000 to co-sign their car loan when Ryan's credit wasn't quite enough. $15,000 for their house down payment. I emptied my savings account, but Sarah was so happy. $12,000 for the wedding. I wanted her to have the day she dreamed of. $8,000 in what Ryan called emergency loans. Medical bills one time, car repairs another, business expenses when work was slow. Smaller things I stopped counting. Groceries when money was tight. Their mortgage payment once when Ryan said the commission check was delayed. Christmas gifts for Ryan's clients because it's important for my career, Mom Linda. $70,000, give or take. Nearly 2 years of my teaching salary. Money Jim and I had saved. Double shifts when we needed new textbooks. Summer school classes so we could help Sarah with college. We drove old cars, skipped vacations, saved. But I gave it willingly, happily. Because that's what family does. That's what I thought family meant. Now, sitting in that hospital waiting room at 4 a.m., I wondered if I'd been a fool. Margaret Sullivan lives next door. 70 years old, retired librarian, widow for 10 years. We became friends after Jim died. Widow solidarity, she calls it. She brings casseroles every Tuesday. Started the week after Jim's funeral. Never stopped. We garden together. Share perennials. Morning coffee on my porch when weather's nice. Margaret had mentioned things, little things. Ryan's car is awfully fancy for someone whose business is struggling. Or, I saw him here Friday afternoon. Doesn't he work Fridays? Or, the one that made me defensive, he looks at Sarah like she's property, not a partner. I'd brushed it off. Margaret could be nosy, meant well, but sometimes saw problems that weren't there. Except they were there. I just hadn't wanted to see them. Tom Chen manages my retirement accounts. Has for 15 years. Certified financial planner, small independent practice, honest as the day is long, quarterly meetings at his office, coffee and portfolio reviews. He knew my financial goals, knew I wanted my money to last, to leave something for Sarah. 3 months ago at our meeting, Tom had hesitated. Linda, I'm seeing some irregular activity on accounts linked to your name. Have you opened any new joint accounts recently? Joint accounts? No. Let me look into it. Might be nothing. Identity protection these days, you know? I'd forgotten about it. Tom hadn't mentioned it again. Now I wondered, had he seen this coming? Had the warning signs been there and I'd missed them? Looking back, I can see the red flags. Sarah getting quieter over the past 6 months. Canceling our weekly lunch dates. Always an excuse. Work was busy. She was tired. Maybe next week. When she did come over, she wore long sleeves, even in July. Ryan showing up with expensive watches, new suits, taking Sarah on weekend trips to Chicago, New York. I'd been happy for them. Business must be going well, I thought. But Sarah would flinch sometimes when Ryan touched her, pull away slightly. I'd noticed, told myself it was nothing. Couples have their rhythms. 3 months ago, Sarah had said something. We were having coffee at my kitchen table. She'd gotten quiet, staring at her cup. Mom, if anything ever happens to me, don't let Ryan control my accounts. Okay? Promise me. Sarah, what are you talking about? Nothing's going to happen to you. Just promise. Of course, honey. but you're worrying over nothing." She'd nodded, changed the subject. I'd let it drop. I should have asked more questions. Ryan had mentioned his father once. Early in his marriage to Sarah, when I'd asked about his family, his father Tom had killed himself when Ryan was 19. Gambling debts, lost their house, eviction. Ryan's mother had a breakdown. Ryan said he'd never forget finding his father in the garage. "I'll never let money destroy my family like Dad did," he'd told me. His eyes had been so earnest, so sincere. I'd found it noble, a man learning from tragedy. Now, sitting in this hospital with my daughter's blood still under my fingernails from helping her into the car, I saw it differently. He hadn't learned from his father. He'd become him. Gambling, debt, destruction, just with different victims. I walked back to Sarah's room. The nurse let me sit with her. Sarah was sleeping finally, pain medication working. Her face, God, her beautiful face, purple and swollen. I sat in the chair next to her bed, held her hand gently, her wedding ring still on her finger. I'd helped her pick it out, had cried at their wedding. Ryan's vows echoed in my memory. "I promise to protect you, to honor you, to be worthy of you." 8 years ago. 8 years of what? Of stealing? Of hitting her? Of playing the perfect son-in-law while destroying everything? My phone buzzed again. I pulled it out. Another bank alert. Cash advance, $3,200. Credit card ending in 4782. I clicked it. My credit card. The one I used for emergencies, except I hadn't used it. The statement showed charges I didn't recognize. Hotels, jewelry stores, restaurants in Chicago. I scrolled through transaction history. More alerts I dismissed over the past months. Attributed them to fraud protection being overly cautious. Figured the bank would fix it if something was wrong. But the bank hadn't fixed it. Because Ryan was authorized. Because somehow he'd gotten access to my accounts. My cards, my money. My phone showed 3 more unread alerts from earlier in the week. $2,800, $4,100, $5,200. While I'd been grading papers, I still substitute taught occasionally, Ryan had been stealing. While I'd been at the grocery store, at book club, at Margaret's for coffee, while I'd been living my quiet, normal life, he'd been draining my retirement fund. That's when I knew this was bigger than I thought. Bigger than a bad marriage. Bigger than one night of violence. This was systematic, planned, predatory, and I had no idea how deep it went. Sarah came home with me Sunday morning. Hospital discharged her after 24 hours of observation. No internal bleeding, thank God. Just bruises. Severe bruising, the doctor said, like that made it better. Ryan had called my phone 6 times while we were at the hospital. I didn't answer. He left voicemails. "Linda, please, I need to talk to Sarah. It's not what she thinks. Let me explain." His voice sounded desperate. Good. At home, I got Sarah settled in her old bedroom. The twin bed with the quilt I'd made when she was 12, stuffed bear still on the pillow, boy band poster from the 90s, edges curling. She was 40 years old, sleeping in her childhood bed because her husband put her there. "Get some rest," I told her. "You're safe here." She nodded, already falling asleep before I closed the door. I went downstairs, made coffee, couldn't sit still. Started organizing Sarah's things from the hospital. Her purse, her jacket, the overnight bag I'd packed for her. Her purse was open on the kitchen table. I wasn't trying to snoop, just straightening things. Her wallet fell out, then her phone charger, then a folder, manila, worn at the edges. I picked it up to set it aside. It fell open. Bank statements, not ones I recognized. Joint account, Morrison Mitchell. Account number 4782, the one from the alert. Statement pages highlighted in yellow marker. Sarah's handwriting in the margins. I sat down. Page after page. Withdrawals circled, dates annotated, Sarah's notes. Ryan took Mom's card again. $4,200 this time. Says he'll pay back. Never does. Another page. Another note. Called bank. Mom's name on 3 accounts I didn't know about. Forged signatures. A sticky note on a credit card statement. Found this in mailbox last week. Mom's name. She never applied. He did. My daughter had been investigating, documenting. trying to protect me. While I was grading papers and going to book club, Sarah was building evidence against her own husband, and he'd found out. That's why he hit her. I spread the papers on the table. My hands weren't shaking, not yet. That would come later. Right now, I was in teacher mode. Organize, assess, document, bank statement for account 4782, $45,000 withdrawn over 18 months. Every Friday like clockwork. Bank statement for account 9921, $15,000 emptied last year. Steady withdrawals, then one final $8,000 transfer. Balance 0. Credit card statement. Card number ending in 3847, $23,500 charged. Hotels in Chicago, jewelry stores, restaurants I'd never been to. Flowers delivered to an address I didn't recognize. Sarah had highlighted a pattern. 8 months ago, the spending had changed, increased. Hotels every weekend, expensive gifts. That's when the affair started. Ryan was funding his relationship with Jessica using my money. I pushed back from the table, went to Jim's office. Hadn't been in there much since he died. His reading glasses were still in the drawer. I needed them for the small print on statements. I pulled them out. They smelled like him still somehow. 5 years and his glasses smelled like him. Old Spice in the reading room at the library where he'd volunteer on Saturdays. I was using his glasses to see how someone had stolen what we'd built together. I turned on the computer, logged into my bank accounts online. The password Ryan had helped me set up 2 years ago. Secure, he'd said. Easy to remember. My checking account came up first, normal balance. Nothing obviously wrong, but there, at the bottom, view all accounts. I clicked it. 3 accounts appeared that I'd never opened. Joint checking. Linda Morrison, Ryan Mitchell. Current balance $68. Transaction history. Pages of withdrawals. $45,000 moved out over 2 years. Joint savings. Linda Morrison, Sarah Morrison Mitchell. Current balance, $0. $15,000 withdrawn last year. Credit card, Linda Morrison. Current balance, $23,500 owed. Never applied for, never received the card. Ryan must have intercepted it. Total taken, $83,500, not the $70,000 I'd given willingly, another $83,000 I'd never known about. I cross-referenced Sarah's notes with my own calendar on my phone. Every Friday withdrawal? I checked. Every single Friday matched a day Ryan had visited to help with my computer. He'd sit in my kitchen, I'd make coffee, bring out cookies. Those oatmeal raisin ones he liked. We'd chat about work, about Sarah, about nothing important. He'd say, "Let me just check your computer for updates, Mom Linda." And while I cleaned up the coffee cups, he was logging into my accounts, creating new ones, transferring money, stealing. The anger came then, started in my chest, hot, tight. I stood up, walked to the window, breathed. He'd sat in my kitchen, eaten my cookies, called me Mom, and robbed me blind. A car drove slowly past my house. Dark sedan, Ryan's car. I stepped back from the window. He didn't stop, just cruised by, slowly, looking. I grabbed Sarah's folder, shoved it under a couch cushion, my bank statements from the printer, stuffed them in a kitchen drawer. If he came to the door, I didn't want evidence visible. He didn't come to the door. The car turned at the corner, disappeared, but he was watching, checking to see if Sarah was here, if I'd taken her in. I waited 10 minutes, made sure he was gone. Then I pulled out my phone, called Tom Chen. It rang 4 times. Tom's voice, professional. "Linda, how are you? Tom, I need you to look at something quietly. Can we meet?" A pause. Tom knew me, knew I wasn't dramatic. "Linda, is everything all right?" "I'm not sure. I found some accounts I don't remember opening, joint accounts with Ryan's name, large withdrawals." Another pause. Longer. "How large?" "Over $80,000. "Jesus, Linda, when can you come in? Today? Tomorrow?" Tomorrow early, and Tom, don't mention this to anyone. Of course. 9 a.m. Bring everything you have. Every statement, every document, every alert. We'll figure this out. Thank you. I hung up, sat at the kitchen table, stared at the drawer where I'd hidden the statements. $83,000. Plus the $70,000 I'd given willingly. Over $150,000 total. My entire retirement fund. The money that was supposed to last me through my 80s, my 90s. The money I'd need for health care, for emergencies, for being old and unable to work. Gone. A knock at the door. I jumped. Through the window, Margaret, Tuesday casserole in her hands. Except it was Sunday. She must have seen something, known something was wrong. I let her in. Honey, she said. Just that. One word. Set the casserole on the counter. Pulled me into a hug. I didn't cry. Wasn't ready for that yet. But I let her hold me for a minute. I saw the ambulance Friday night, Margaret said. 2 a.m. I didn't want to pry, but is Sarah okay? I pulled back. She's upstairs, sleeping. Ryan hit her. Margaret's face went hard. She's a gentle woman, Margaret. Soft-spoken, but that look, I saw steel. That son of a bitch. He's been stealing from me too. $80,000, maybe more. Oh, Linda. I saw his car, drove by 20 minutes ago. Slowly. He knows she's here. Margaret walked to the window, looked out at my quiet street. You need to call the police. I know. I'm meeting with Tom Chen tomorrow, my financial advisor, getting documentation first. Then police. Then, I don't know. Lawyer, maybe. Definitely lawyer. Margaret turned back to me. Linda, I have to tell you something. I should have said it sooner. I saw Ryan's car here every Friday. Expensive car for someone whose business was supposedly struggling. And I'd see him leaving, never stayed long. 20 minutes, maybe. What's he doing here 20 minutes every week? Stealing, while I made him coffee. Margaret squeezed my hand. This isn't your fault. I trusted him. That's not a fault. That's being a decent person. She looked at the casserole on the counter. You need to eat. You need to sleep. And tomorrow you document everything and you get help. Professional help, police, lawyers, whatever it takes. I don't even know where to start. You start by getting every piece of paper, every bank statement, every receipt. You organize it. And honey, you were a teacher for 40 years. If anyone can organize chaos, it's you. Then you hand it to people who can do something about it. She was right. I could do this. I'd organize classrooms, lesson plans, parent conferences, field trips for 30 kids at a time. I could organize evidence. Thank you, Margaret. I'm next door if you need me. Anytime, day or night. I mean it. After she left, I pulled out the statements again. Started. Organizing. Made piles. Account 4782. Account 9921. Credit card 3847. Chronological order. Highlighted the patterns. Calculated totals. I was building a case, and somewhere in the back of my mind, a thought formed. Ryan thought he'd gotten away with this. Thought I was just a confused old woman who wouldn't notice, who wouldn't fight back. He was wrong. Monday morning, 9 a.m., Tom Chen's office. I'd brought everything. 3 folders organized by account number, printed bank statements, Sarah's handwritten notes, my calendar showing Ryan's Friday visits, a list of questions I'd written at 5 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. Tom's assistant brought coffee. I wrapped my hands around the cup. Ceramic. Hot. Normal. Tom was pulling up something on his computer screen, a spreadsheet, color-coded, numbers I recognized. Linda, I had my forensic accountant look at everything you sent over last night. Tom turned the screen toward me. Rebecca specializes in elder financial fraud. She worked through the night on this. I leaned forward, saw my name, Ryan's name, account numbers swimming on the screen. How bad is it? Tom took a breath, the kind of breath people take before delivering bad news. This isn't a few $1,000s, Linda. Over the last 2 years, $80,340 has moved through accounts with your information attached. My coffee cup rattled against the saucer when I set it down. Tom pretended not to notice. 80,000. My voice didn't sound like mine. And that's just what we can document definitively. There may be more. The accounts you found, the joint checking, the savings, the credit card, those show clear patterns of unauthorized access. Some transactions you approved, yes. The loans, the wedding, the down payment. Those were gifts, legal, documented. He pointed to highlighted sections on the spreadsheet. Yellow for my gifts, red for everything else. But these withdrawals, every Friday, $1,000 to $4,000. You didn't authorize these. The credit card charges, hotels, jewelry, restaurants, you didn't make these purchases. And legally, Linda, that's theft. The screen showed everything. A timeline starting 2 years ago. Small amounts at first. $500, $1,000. Testing. Then bigger. $2,000 every week, then 3. Building up to that $8,500 withdrawal the night Sarah showed up at my door. Rebecca's analysis showed spending patterns too. 8 months ago, everything changed. Hotel charges doubled, expensive jewelry purchases, weekend trips to Chicago. That's when Jessica started. Ryan was funding his affair with my retirement money. $68,340 in unauthorized withdrawals from the accounts, Tom said, plus $23,500 on the fraudulent credit card. That's where we get $80,000 total, give or take. I stared at the numbers. My retirement fund. Money Jim and I had saved through 40 years of teaching. Double shifts and summer school and skipping vacations and driving old cars until they died. Gone. Can I... My voice broke. Started again. Can I get it back? That's what we're going to fight for. But Linda, this is elder financial abuse, criminal offense. We need to involve the police. Police? Financial Crimes Unit. Detective Maria Rodriguez. I've already reached out. I hope that's okay. She wants to meet with you. I nodded. Couldn't speak yet. Tom's assistant brought more coffee. I didn't touch it. Stared at the spreadsheet, at the red sections, at my name attached to accounts I'd never opened, at Ryan's name. Authorized user. Authorized by forged signatures, Sarah's notes had said. I sat there looking at Tom's screen, the numbers, the dates, the pattern Rebecca had highlighted in those red sections. $80,340. My retirement fund. The money Jim and I saved for 40 years of teaching. Double shifts when we needed new textbooks so our students wouldn't go without. Summer school classes so we could afford Sarah's college, so she wouldn't have loans. We skipped vacations, drove old cars, saved, planned, protected each other, and Ryan had just taken it. While I made him dinner, while I called him son, while my daughter, my baby, suffered in silence because she was trying to protect me from knowing what he was doing. I felt sick, not angry yet, just sick, betrayed, stupid. How did I not see this? Teacher for 40 years. I could spot a kid lying about homework from across the classroom, but my own son-in-law sitting in my kitchen stealing from me for 2 years? Blind. I'd been completely blind. Linda? Tom's voice, gentle. You still with me? I looked up. I should have known. Don't do that. He's sophisticated. Created accounts, forged signatures, intercepted mail. This is professional-level fraud. Most people wouldn't catch it until it's too late. You caught it because Sarah caught it. She was documenting everything. And he beat her for it. Tom nodded. Quiet, let me process. I pulled Sarah's folder from my bag. The emails she'd printed, screenshots from Ryan's phone. She must have looked when he was sleeping. There's more, I said. Digital evidence. Sarah found these. Tom took the papers, started reading. His jaw tightened. Email from Ryan to Jessica, dated 6 months ago. Took another $3K from Linda's account today. Dinner at that place you like? The one with the wine cellar? My treat. Text message thread, 4 months ago, Ryan. MIL is loaded. Teacher's pension for life, LOL. She'll never notice. Jessica. You're terrible. Ryan. She's old, confused, can't even remember her passwords half the time. Text from 3 months ago. Ryan. Linda asked about some withdrawals today. Played dumb. Said must be bank error. She bought it. Another email 2 months ago. Ryan. Jessica. I know the money's been tight on your end. Don't worry, I'm handling it. Linda's got plenty. She won't miss a few thousand here and there. And if she does, Sarah will smooth it over. That's what family does, right? 23 emails total. Sarah had highlighted the ones mentioning money, mentioning me. Ryan talked about me like I was a wallet, an ATM. Linda's got plenty. She'll never notice. She's old. Tom's face had gone hard, professional mask slipping. Linda, this is consciousness of guilt. He knew he was stealing, knew it was wrong, planned it, joked about it. This isn't confusion or misunderstanding. This is predatory. Can you use this in court? Absolutely. Detective Rodriguez will want copies. And Linda, he hesitated. You need a lawyer, not just for the financial recovery. Sarah needs one too, for the divorce, for the domestic violence case. I don't know any lawyers. I have a name, Susan Walsh, elder law specialist, but she also handles family law. She's tough, passionate about these cases. I've referred clients to her before. They've all been happy. Okay. I'll call her this morning. Get you an appointment. My phone buzzed. Sarah calling from my house. Mom, Detective Rodriguez is here. She says Tom called her. She wants to talk to you about Ryan. I'll be home in 20 minutes. Is she nice? Yeah, professional. She brought coffee. Says she specializes in financial crimes against seniors. After I hung up, Tom pulled out another document. Linda, there's one more thing. Sarah's medical records. She authorized release this morning from her hospital visits. He slid papers across the desk. I didn't want to look. Had to anyway. County General Hospital. Emergency room visit, July 2024. Patient Sarah Morrison Mitchell, age 40. Chief complaint, chest pain, difficulty breathing, injuries. Noted bruised ribs, 2, left side. Patient states fell downstairs. Physician notes, injuries inconsistent with stated cause. Pattern concerning. Social worker consulted. Patient declined DV resources. September 2024. Chief complaint, headache, nausea, vision problems. Injuries noted, concussion, mild. Bruising to right temple. Patient states car accident. Physician notes, no police report filed, no vehicle damage reported. Injuries inconsistent with car accident mechanism. Strong suspicion of domestic violence. Patient again declined intervention. November 2024. Chief complaint, facial trauma, rib pain. Injuries noted, facial contusions, possible orbital fracture, severe bruising. Patient disclosed domestic violence by spouse. Police report filed. Photos taken for evidence. 3 visits. 3 times doctors suspected. 2 times Sarah lied to protect Ryan, or protect me, or both. The medical records also included notes from Sarah's therapist. She'd been seeing someone since August, 2 months of sessions, documented discussions about spouses' escalating violence and safety planning and financial concerns regarding mother. Sarah had known, for months, was trying to handle it herself, build a case, protect me. And I'd been oblivious, grading papers, going to book club, living my quiet life while my daughter documented abuse and my son-in-law stole my future. The pattern is clear, Tom said. 3 ER visits in 4 months, escalating injuries, professional documentation, therapist notes. This plus the financial evidence. Linda, you have a case, a strong case. Detective Rodriguez was waiting at my house when I got home. Latina woman, mid-40s, professional suit, badge visible on her belt, kind eyes with cop directness. She'd already talked to Sarah, had pages of notes. Financial Crimes Unit, she explained, handled elder financial abuse, forgery, identity theft. She'd seen cases like this before. Too many. Mrs. Morrison, we'll need to document everything: bank statements, emails, text messages, medical records. Chain of evidence matters. We'll also need victim statements from you and from Sarah, and we'll need to move forward with criminal charges if you're willing. I'm willing. Good. Because $80,000? That's felony-level theft. Plus the forged signatures, that's identity theft. Multiple counts. And the domestic violence against Sarah gives us additional charges. Ryan Mitchell is looking at serious time if convicted. She pulled out forms. We spent 2 hours going through everything, account by account, withdrawal by withdrawal, email by email. 3 forensic experts would review the evidence: Tom's accountant, Rebecca, the police financial analyst, and a handwriting expert to confirm the forged signatures on account applications. Susan Walsh, the attorney Tom recommended, called while Detective Rodriguez was still there. Could I come in tomorrow? 2 p.m.? Bring everything? I'll be there. After the detective left, I sat at my kitchen table, the table that was now covered in evidence instead of crossword puzzles and library books. Sarah came downstairs, moved slower, still sore. She sat across from me. Mom, I'm sorry. I should have told you sooner. You were trying to protect me. I was scared. Scared he'd hurt you if you confronted him. Scared you'd be devastated when you found out. I thought if I just gathered enough proof first, made it undeniable, then we could go to the police together. But he found my folder. In my car last week. Saw the emails I'd printed. The bank statements. He knew I knew everything. And he... She touched her face. The bruises were fading to yellow-green now, still ugly. He lost it. He's not going to hurt you again. Or me. Detective Rodriguez is filing for a permanent restraining order, and tomorrow we're meeting with a lawyer. A good one. Sarah nodded, started crying. Quiet tears. I feel so stupid. I'm a nurse. I help domestic violence victims at the hospital all the time. I know the signs. I know the cycle. And I thought I could fix him, fix us. I reached across the table, took her hand. That's not stupid. That's love. And he used that against you. We sat there, mother and daughter, evidence boxes between us, building a case against the man who'd tried to destroy us both. But he hadn't destroyed us. We were still here, still standing. And now we had proof. 3 a.m. Tuesday. Couldn't sleep. I sat in my kitchen, Sarah asleep upstairs. Evidence boxes still on the table where Detective Rodriguez had left them. I kept thinking about the number, $80,340. How do you steal that much money from someone? How do you look them in the eye? Eat at their table? Call them mom? Memories surfaced. Couldn't push it away. Sarah's wedding day, 8 years ago, June sunshine, garden ceremony at the little chapel outside town, Sarah in her white dress, radiant. I'd never seen her so happy. Ryan's vows. Sarah, I promise to protect you, to provide for you, to honor your family as my own. Then he'd turn to me, 80 people watching. Linda? His voice caught, emotional, sincere. Thank you for raising this incredible woman. I'll take care of her, and you, always. I'd cried. Happy tears. Jim would have loved this moment, would have loved Ryan, this good man, this devoted son-in-law who made Sarah smile like that. Margaret had whispered beside me, he seems intense. I'd brushed it off. He's just earnest, loves her deeply. That night at the reception, Ryan hugged me. Long hug. Mom, Linda, you're stuck with me now. Family forever. I'd hugged him back. Welcome to the family, son. The memory dissolved. Kitchen. Present. 3 a.m. evidence boxes where wedding photos used to be displayed on my counter. Family forever. He'd meant it. Just not the way I thought. I stood up. Couldn't sit anymore. Walked to Jim's office. Hadn't been in there much since he died. Kept it like a shrine. His desk exactly as he'd left it. Books on the shelves, reading glasses in the drawer, photos of us from better days. I turned on the light, sat in his chair, leather worn where his elbows used to rest. The estate planning folder was in the bottom drawer. Jim's handwriting on the tab. Important, Morrison estate. We'd updated everything 6 months before he died. Wanted everything organized, clean. No burden on Sarah when we were gone. I pulled it out. Hadn't looked at it in 5 years. Maybe I should have. The will came first. Standard language. Linda Morrison's assets to daughter Sarah Morrison Mitchell, primary beneficiary. But there, Section 3, Paragraph B. In the event primary beneficiary is unable to serve, Ryan Mitchell named backup executor with full authority to manage estate distribution. My stomach dropped. Ryan, backup executor. If something happened to Sarah, if she was incapacitated, too ill, too injured, Ryan would control everything. I flipped pages. Trust documents, Sarah primary beneficiary, Ryan secondary, life insurance policy, same structure, healthcare power of attorney. Sarah first, Ryan second. If something happened to Sarah, Ryan would inherit through her. If something happened to me, Ryan would control distribution of assets. He was positioned to control my entire estate. The pattern clicked into place. This wasn't opportunistic theft. This was a plan, long-term, systematic. He'd positioned himself carefully. Backup executor, secondary beneficiary, power of attorney contingency. He was isolating Sarah, weakening her, making me dependent on him, the helpful son-in-law, the tech support, the one I trusted with access to my accounts. And if we got in his way? If we discovered what he was doing? Sarah's 3 ER visits flashed through my mind. Escalating violence. What if that last visit hadn't been to my house? What if she'd been too scared to leave? Too injured to run? Elderly widows fall. Sick wives don't recover. Accidents happen. My hands went cold. He wasn't just stealing my present. He was stealing my future. Sarah's future. He'd positioned himself to inherit everything if we died or couldn't fight back. I sat there in Jim's chair, his office, his legacy of protecting our family, and I realized he'd want me to fight. Not just for the money, for Sarah, for myself, for what we'd built together. I pulled out a notepad, teacher habit, right to think, organize chaos, made 2 lists. What Ryan has done. Stolen $80,340 plus. Documented beat Sarah repeatedly, planned to control my estate. Isolated Sarah from help, made me doubt myself, used my trust as a weapon. Stared at the list. My handwriting. Clear. Firm. Facts on paper. Second list. What I'm going to do, get every dollar back, plus damages, get Sarah safe. Plus divorced, cut Ryan out of all legal documents. Build case he can't fight. Make sure he can't hurt anyone else. Added 1 more line at the bottom. Not revenge, protection. Thought of Jim. What he'd say if he were here. I could almost hear his voice. That steady, calm certainty he had. Stand up to bullies, Linda. Protect your people. I opened my laptop. Found the email from Tom. Susan Walsh's contact information, elder law attorney, the one he'd recommended, started typing. Ms. Walsh, I need help. My son-in-law has stolen over $80,000 from me and physically abused my daughter. I have evidence, bank records, emails, medical documentation, witness statements, forensic accounting analysis. I'm 68 years old, I'm a retired teacher, I'm a widow, and I'm done being a victim. I want my money back, I want my daughter safe, I want legal protection, and I want him held accountable. Can you help me? Linda Morrison. My finger hovered over send. Thought about what this meant. Once I sent this, no going back. Legal battle, possibly criminal trial, public, expensive, stressful. But if I didn't send it? Ryan wins. Keeps stealing, keeps hurting Sarah. Maybe escalates, maybe worse than ER visits next time. Jim's office, my decision, his legacy of protection continuing through me. I clicked send. Email swooshed away. Gone, done. I sat in Jim's chair. 43 years of teaching, 15 years of marriage to Jim, 5 years widowed, and I'd let this man walk into my home and steal it all. But not anymore. Not one more dollar. Not one more bruise on my daughter. Not anymore. Morning came. 6 a.m. I was still at Jim's desk, had pulled out more documents, old tax returns, gift documentation from the $70,000 I'd given willingly, receipts, proof of what was legitimate versus what was stolen. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. Mrs. Morrison, this is Susan Walsh. I got your email at 5:30 this morning. I've been reviewing the documents you attached. I'm looking at my calendar. Can you come in today? 2 p.m.? Yes. Good. Bring everything. Every document, every bank statement, every piece of evidence you have. We're going to build a case he can't wriggle out of. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. This is going to get hard. He'll fight. He'll make accusations. He'll try to paint you as confused, Sarah as vindictive. Are you prepared for that? I looked at the evidence boxes on Jim's desk, at the lists I'd written, at the estate documents showing Ryan's calculated positioning. I'm prepared. Then I'll see you at 2. And Mrs. Morrison, you did the right thing reaching out. A lot of people in your situation stay silent, ashamed, scared. You're already ahead because you're willing to fight. After we hung up, I sat quiet. Sun coming up outside Jim's window. Birds starting their morning songs. Normal suburban morning. Except nothing was normal anymore. Sarah appeared in the doorway, wrapped in the old quilt from her bed. Mom, you've been up all night. Couldn't sleep. Did some thinking. Made some decisions. She saw the estate folder open on the desk, the lists, the laptop still glowing with Susan Walsh's response email. You're really doing this, taking him on. We're doing this together, if you're ready. Sarah came into the room, sat in the other chair, the one where Jim used to do the crossword while I graded papers. I'm ready. I should have been ready months ago. You were protecting me. Now I'm protecting you. That's what family does. Real family, Sarah said, not whatever Ryan thinks family means. We sat there, mother and daughter, Jim's office, morning light, evidence surrounding us. We had 2 p.m. with a lawyer, a detective building a criminal case, a financial advisor documenting fraud, a neighbor watching our backs. Ryan thought he'd won, thought he'd gotten away with it, thought we were just women he could control and steal from and intimidate. He was wrong, and he was about to find out how wrong. Susan Walsh's office, 2 p.m. Tuesday. She was younger than I expected. Early 50s, sharp suit, office walls covered in certifications and thank you letters from clients. She'd already reviewed everything I'd sent, had it organized in color-coded folders when I arrived. Mrs. Morrison, I've handled 37 elder financial abuse cases in the last 5 years. Yours is the most thoroughly documented I've ever seen. Sarah's evidence collection? That's prosecutorial gold. We spent 3 hours going through strategy. Civil suit for restitution, full $80,340 plus damages for emotional distress, legal fees, credit repair costs, criminal complaint through Detective Rodriguez, restraining order for Sarah, temporary already approved, permanent filing today, divorce papers, estate document revisions. This is going to be expensive, Susan said, not sugarcoating. Court costs, expert witnesses, my retainer, $15,000 to $20,000 conservatively, maybe more if he fights hard. I thought of the $80,000 he'd stolen. I want my money back, all of it, whatever it costs. Good. Then let's make sure he pays every penny. The next 6 weeks became a blur. Susan filed the civil suit. Restitution demand, $83,340 plus $15,000 in damages, $98,000 total. Detective Rodriguez opened a formal criminal investigation. Elder financial abuse, identity theft, forgery, 5 counts minimum, DA reviewing for prosecution. Sarah filed for divorce. No reconciliation, no mediation. Dissolution with cause. Domestic violence, financial fraud, adultery. Ryan served papers at his workplace. Public, humiliating, good. Restraining order approved. Temporary 30 days became permanent 1 year. 500 feet minimum distance. Any violation meant immediate arrest. Tom Chen froze my compromised accounts. Opened new ones with fraud protection, dual signature requirements, changed every password, every security question. Ryan couldn't access anything anymore. Rebecca, the forensic accountant, kept digging. Found a fourth fraudulent account I didn't know existed. 12,000 more stolen. Total documented theft now, $92,340. Ryan's lawyer filed a response. Predictable defense. Gifts, not theft. Verbal authorization from confused elderly woman who can't remember what she approved. Concerned son-in-law trying to help manage finances. The DA called. They were considering criminal charges. Needed me willing to testify publicly, stand trial if necessary, face cross-examination about my memory, my finances, my relationship with Ryan. I'll testify, I told the assistant DA. No hesitation. My body had other opinions about the stress. Blood pressure at my doctor's appointment, 165/95. Dr. Patterson increased my medication, warned me about stroke risk. Linda, I know you're going through something difficult, but you need to manage your stress. Credit score plummeted. 720 to 580 in 2 months. The fraudulent credit card, the missed payments Ryan had made in my name, the identity theft flags, my mortgage refinance application. Denied. I'd been trying to lower my payment. Now I couldn't. Margaret drove me to every appointment. Attorney meetings, police interviews, court filings. She'd show up at 8 a.m. with coffee. Ready? Just that. Ready. Week 4, Ryan's attorney sent a settlement offer. Susan called me into her office, laid out the proposal. Ryan's offering $20,000 repayment over 5 years, monthly payments. In exchange, you drop all criminal charges. Sarah gives him uncontested divorce with no alimony, mutual non-disparagement agreement. You can't talk about what happened. He can't talk about what happened. Clean slate. I stared at the paper. $20,000? He stole $92,000. I know, it's insulting. So why are you showing me this? Susan leaned back. Professional, direct. Because trials are expensive, Linda. Stressful. Could take a year, maybe longer. You'll sit on a witness stand while his lawyer questions your memory, your judgment, your mental capacity. They'll put his father's suicide on the record. Family history of mental illness, gambling problems. They'll paint you as a confused widow who can't manage her own finances. Are you prepared for that? I thought about it. Really thought about it. I was tired. Blood pressure issues. Credit destroyed. 68 years old and fighting a legal battle that could drag on for months. $20,000 was something. Take it and move on. Get back to my quiet life. Garden club with Margaret. Book club on Wednesdays. Pretend this never happened. Sarah was with me, sat in the other chair. Mom, no. If we settle cheap, he wins. He'll do this to someone else's mother, someone else's wife. Sarah's right, Susan said. $20,000 today means he learns he can steal $90,000 and negotiate down. It's a playbook. Do it again somewhere else to someone else. Margaret was in the waiting room. She'd driven us, must have heard through the door because she knocked, opened it without waiting for an answer. Linda Morrison, don't you dare. That man beat your daughter and stole your retirement. $20,000 is nothing. I looked at them. Sarah with her fading bruises, Margaret with her Tuesday casseroles and unwavering support, Susan with her 37 cases and her wall of thank you letters. Then I looked at the settlement offer. Ryan's signature at the bottom. That same signature he'd forged on my bank accounts. No, we proceed. Full amount or trial. Susan smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. Week 5. I came home from the grocery store. Margaret with me. She'd been coming everywhere lately. Safety in numbers. My front door was slightly ajar. I stopped. I locked that. Margaret grabbed my arm. Call 911. Now. Police came. Checked the house. No one inside. Nothing obviously stolen. No forced entry. Lock undamaged. But someone had been there. Ryan's cologne lingered in my living room. That expensive stuff he wore. Unmistakable. The evidence boxes on my kitchen table. Rearranged. Not taken. Just moved. Touched. Message clear. I can get to you. My bedroom. On my pillow. The wedding photo from my mantle. The one I'd kept displayed for 8 years. Ryan and Sarah both smiling. Ryan's face looking up at me. Violation complete. Detective Rodriguez arrived 20 minutes later. Walked through, took photos, dusted for prints. He has keys, she said. From before. When he visited regularly. Mrs. Morrison, we're changing your locks. Today, right now, I'm calling a locksmith. He broke the restraining order. Yes, criminal trespassing, violation of court order. I'm filing charges immediately. And Linda, she looked at me, kind but serious. He's escalating. This is desperate behavior. Men like Ryan, when they realize they're going to lose money, reputation, freedom, they get dangerous. I've seen it before. What should I do? You're doing it. Building the case, documenting everything, staying alert, but I want you to consider staying somewhere else until the locks are changed. Friend's house? Family? Margaret stepped forward. She's staying here. I am. Guest room. Until this is over. Margaret, you don't have to. Honey, I'm 70 years old and I own a shotgun. Jim taught me to shoot skeet at the club before he died, remember? Ryan wants to try something with me here? Let him try. Detective Rodriguez nodded. Approved. I'm also increasing patrol frequency on your street. You have my personal cell number. Call anytime. Day, night, doesn't matter. Do you think he'd really hurt me? Physically? I think he's capable of anything, and I want you prepared. Locksmith came that afternoon. New deadbolts. New locks. Security system installed the next day. Cameras at front door, back door, driveway. Alarm system connected to police dispatch. Margaret's emergency contact info programmed in. Cost me $1,200 I didn't have. Put it on a credit card. Added to the debt Ryan had created. But my door was secure. My house was monitored. Margaret was in the guest room with her shotgun in the closet. Police were patrolling. Ryan wanted me isolated, scared, alone. Instead, I had an army. That night, Margaret and I sat in my living room, new locks gleaming, alarm system armed, security cameras recording. Thank you, I said, for everything. The casseroles, the driving, the staying. You didn't sign up for this? The hell I didn't. You're my friend, and friends don't let friends fight alone. She sipped her tea. Besides, Tom would have done the same for me, and that's what we do. We show up. I thought about that. Margaret showing up every day, Tom Chen documenting fraud, Susan Walsh taking my case, Detective Rodriguez working overtime, Sarah building evidence while protecting me. I hadn't been alone. Not really. I'd just been too proud, too independent, too determined to handle things myself to see it. We're going to win this, Margaret said. Not a question, statement. He's fighting hard. So are we. Harder. Week 6, Susan called. Trial date set. 3 months out, December 15th. Judge Mitchell, yes, really, same last name, no relation. Defense is filing motions to dismiss, motions to suppress evidence, character witnesses claiming Ryan's a good person having a mental health crisis. Will any of that work? No, we have documentation, multiple expert witnesses, pattern of behavior. He's going down, Linda. It's just a matter of how hard he makes us work for it. 3 months, 90 more days of this, of stress and appointments and legal documents and watching my back. But I was ready. We were ready. Ryan had gambled that I'd be too scared to fight, too old, too confused, too ashamed. He'd gambled wrong, and Detective Rodriguez was right. The most dangerous time was when he realized he'd lost. That time was coming. 3 months passed in preparation. Discovery, depositions, expert reports. Ryan's lawyer filed motion after motion, all denied. Susan was right. We had documentation. He had excuses. December 15th, mediation day. Not a courtroom. Susan had pushed for mediation first. Faster resolution, less public spectacle, better chance of full restitution. Judge agreed. Ordered mandatory mediation before trial. Professional office building downtown. Conference room, 12th floor, big windows overlooking the city, long table, too many chairs. Susan had prepped me. He'll try to talk directly to you, appeal to your emotions, remind you of good times. Don't engage. Let me handle it. We arrived first. Me, Sarah, Susan. Tom Chen was there as financial expert witness. Detective Rodriguez observing for the criminal case. Papers everywhere. Evidence binders stacked at Susan's end of the table. Color-coded tabs. Organized. Teacher approved. Ryan arrived with his lawyer. Thomas Brennan, 50-something, expensive suit, reputation for defending white-collar criminals. Ryan looked thinner than I remembered. Worn. Dark circles under his eyes. He tried to catch my eye. I looked at the window. At Sarah. At the mediator's empty chair. Anywhere else. The mediator arrived. Karen Foster, neutral third party, former judge. Professional, direct. We're here to resolve civil claims and determine criminal prosecution recommendations. Mrs. Morrison alleges elder financial abuse, identity theft, and forgery totaling $92,340. Mr. Mitchell contests these allegations. Let's begin. Susan stood. Opened the first binder. Let's start with financial evidence. She spread documents across the table. Systematic. Methodical. Account 4782, joint account opened March 2023. Mrs. Morrison's signature here on the application. Susan pulled out a second document. Accept handwriting analysis from certified expert shows forgery. Ryan Mitchell's writing attempting Linda Morrison's signature style. 97% confidence match. Thomas Brennan started to object. The mediator raised a hand. Mr. Brennan, you'll have your turn. Let's hear the evidence. Susan continued. Account 9921, opened June 2023. Same story. Forged signature. Independent verification. She laid out credit card applications. Card ending in 38447. Application submitted online from Ryan Mitchell's home IP address. Security footage from post office shows Ryan Mitchell intercepting mail delivery. Card Linda Morrison never received, never authorized, never used. More papers. Bank surveillance footage. Ryan Mitchell using Linda Morrison's debit card at ATM withdrawals. 47 separate incidents over 2 years. Every Friday afternoon, $1,000 to $4,000 per withdrawal. Susan pulled out the spreadsheet, the one Rebecca had created, color-coded, timeline highlighted, projected it on the screen at the end of the table. $92,340. Unauthorized over 2 years. Pattern clear, systematic, escalating, not gifts, not authorized, theft. Thomas Brennan. My client had verbal authorization. Susan. From a woman he was stealing from while beating her daughter. Convenient defense. She presented the timeline. Screenshots. Spending pattern changes 8 months ago. Hotel charges double, jewelry purchases, weekend trips. All funded with Linda Morrison's money. All for Ryan Mitchell's relationship with Jessica Walters, his mistress. Ryan's face flushed. His lawyer whispered something. Ryan shook his head. Now let's discuss witness testimony, Susan said. Tom Chen stood. I'd asked him to keep it brief, professional. He did. Mrs. Morrison trusted me with her retirement accounts for 15 years. I know her financial habits intimately. She's conservative, risk-averse, keeps meticulous records, balances her checkbook monthly to the penny, these withdrawals. Completely inconsistent with her patterns. Timing suspicious. Every Friday when Ryan visited for computer help. amounts escalating without corresponding lifestyle changes, no new purchases, no travel, no explanation. When I asked Ryan about irregularities, after Linda contacted me, he told me Linda had memory issues, that she'd authorized everything but couldn't remember. Exact words. You know how elderly people get confused. Except Linda doesn't have memory issues. I've worked with her 15 years. She remembers every conversation, every transaction, every detail. She corrects me when I make errors. Ryan was gaslighting her, professionally, financially, systematically, making her doubt her own mind while he stole her future. Total documented theft, $92,340. That's not family borrowing. That's elder financial abuse. Tom sat down. Solid testimony, professional, credible. Detective Rodriguez went next. Financial Crimes Unit investigated for 3 months. Results: 5 counts identity theft, forged signatures on financial documents, 12 counts forgery, bank applications, credit applications, loan documents, 47 counts unauthorized access, documented ATM withdrawals, credit card usage, 2 counts elder financial abuse, systematic theft from person over 65. Digital forensics confirmed Ryan Mitchell's IP address on fraudulent applications, his fingerprints on forged documents. Bank surveillance shows him using Linda Morrison's cards without authorization. Text messages to his mistress joking about stealing from MEL and laughing about it. This isn't family borrowing. This is predatory elder abuse, premeditated, calculated, criminal. My recommendation to the district attorney: felony prosecution, maximum sentencing. Ryan Mitchell is a danger to vulnerable seniors. The room was quiet, papers rustling, Ryan staring at the table. Susan pulled out more documents. Medical evidence: Sarah Morrison Mitchell. 3 emergency room visits over 4 months. She laid out hospital records, photos. Sarah's face bruised, ribs purple, timeline of escalating violence. July, bruised ribs, fell downstairs. Physicians noted injuries inconsistent with stated cause. September, concussion, car accident, no police report, strong DV suspicion. November, facial trauma, orbital fracture, patient disclosed domestic violence by spouse. Sarah sat next to me, quiet, watching Ryan. He wouldn't look at her. Therapist notes from August through November document discussions of spouses' escalating violence and safety planning and financial concerns regarding mother. Sarah Morrison was documenting Ryan's crimes while he beat her for investigating him. Thomas Brennan looked at Ryan, whispered urgently. Ryan's face had gone pale. "Your Honor," Brennan started. "I'm not a judge here, Mr. Brennan. I'm a mediator, and the evidence is compelling." Brennan turned to Ryan, more whispering. Ryan shaking his head, getting agitated. Finally, Ryan spoke. Couldn't help himself. "You don't understand the pressure. Sarah wanted everything. Nice house, new cars, keeping up with her friends. I couldn't keep up. The gambling was supposed to help, just a few big wins to catch up. Then Jessica, she made me feel alive again when Sarah was always nagging about money." Susan: "So you stole from a 68-year-old widow and beat her daughter." Ryan stopped, realized what he'd said, looked at his lawyer. Thomas Brennan's face was stone. The mediator leaned forward. "Mr. Mitchell, did you just admit to unauthorized withdrawals from Mrs. Morrison's accounts?" Silence. Thomas Brennan: "I'd like to confer with my client, privately." They left the room. 20 minutes. When they came back, Ryan looked smaller, defeated. "My client," Brennan took a breath. "My client has a gambling addiction. Family history. His father died by suicide after gambling losses destroyed their family. Ryan repeated the pattern. He needs help, not prison. Therapy, treatment programs." Susan: "Help, yes, but consequences too. He stole nearly $100,000. Beat a woman repeatedly. Committed fraud, forgery, identity theft. Treatment doesn't erase that." The mediator: "Mr. Brennan, Given the evidence presented, I recommend settlement. Your client's options: accept terms now or proceed to criminal trial with likely conviction and maximum sentencing. They conferred again. Longer this time. The terms came out. Restitution: $92,340 stolen, plus $15,000 damages. Total, $107,340. Payment plan: $1,490 per month for 6 years. Wage garnishment automatic. First payment due in 30 days. Criminal charges: reduced to misdemeanor elder financial abuse if and only if full restitution paid on time. No violations, no contact with victims. Restraining order: 5 years, 500 feet minimum. Extended if violated even once. Divorce: immediate finalization. No alimony. No asset claims. Ryan relinquishes all marital property to Sarah. No challenge. Treatment: mandatory gambling addiction. Program enrollment within 30 days. Proof required monthly. Stipulation: any violation, missed payment, contact with Linda or Sarah, treatment non-compliance, automatic full criminal prosecution, all charges, no negotiation. Thomas Brennan advised Ryan to take it, whispered that this was the best deal he'd get. That trial meant prison. The mediator looked at me. "Mrs. Morrison, do you accept these terms?" I looked at Sarah, at the evidence boxes, at Tom, who'd worked so hard, at Detective Rodriguez, who'd taken this seriously, at Susan, who'd fought for me. Then I looked at Ryan. He sat across the table, head down. Everything he'd built, his reputation, his marriage, his freedom, crumbling. His own fault, his own choices. I spoke directly to him. "Ryan, I want you to understand something. I gave you trust. I gave you money. I called you family. I welcomed you into my home, into my life, for 8 years, and you took it all. The money I saved with my husband, my daughter's safety, our dignity. I accept this settlement because I want peace, not revenge. Because I want Sarah to heal. Because I want this over. But if you ever come near Sarah again, if you miss one payment, if you violate that restraining order by 1 foot, I will make sure you go to prison. Every charge, full prosecution, no mercy. That's not anger. That's a promise. We're done here." The mediator looked at Ryan. "Mr. Mitchell?" Ryan didn't look up. "I accept. Settlement approved. Documents will be prepared for signatures by end of business today." Papers shuffled. People stood. Susan shook hands with the mediator. Tom gathered his evidence binders. Detective Rodriguez nodded at me. Acknowledgement, respect. Sarah took my hand, squeezed it. When the mediator said settlement accepted, I didn't feel victorious. I felt tired. Relieved, yes, but mostly tired. Justice isn't always satisfying. Sometimes it's just necessary. Done. I wanted it over. I wanted boundaries. I wanted peace. That's what I got. It was enough. We walked out of that conference room, left Ryan and his lawyer behind, took the elevator down 12 floors, stepped out into December cold. Sarah turned to me. "Mom, you were amazing in there." I wasn't amazing. I was done. Done being a victim, done being scared, done letting him take anything else from me. But I was still standing. We both were. That counted for something. January, 1 month after mediation. The check arrived, first payment, $1,490. Certified mail, signature required. I held it in my kitchen, staring at Ryan's signature on the bottom. It was real. He was paying. The system worked. I deposited it into Sarah's rebuilding fund, money earmarked for her new life, apartment, furniture, therapy costs, everything she needed to start over without him. Margaret knocked on my door that afternoon. Tuesday. No casserole this time, just herself and a bottle of wine. "We're celebrating," she announced, marched into my kitchen like she owned it, poured 2 glasses. "To justice." We clinked glasses, sipped. I'm not much of a wine drinker, but it felt right. "Thank you," I said, "for everything. The casseroles, the driving, the staying here when I was scared, the shotgun threat. Margaret laughed. Honey, that wasn't a threat. I really do have that shotgun. Jim and I used to shoot skeet at the club, remember? I'm an excellent shot. Still, you didn't have to do all that. Yes, I did. That's what neighbors do. Real neighbors, anyway. She refilled her glass. Besides, you'd do the same for me. I know you would. She was right. I would. You ever hear from Ryan? Margaret asked. No, restraining orders working. Detective Rodriguez said he's enrolled in the gambling program, keeping his head down. Smart move. Good. He should be scared. After what you did in that mediation. I would be too. Margaret raised her glass again. Linda Morrison, badass retired teacher. Who knew? I laughed. Actually laughed. First real laugh in months. I'm not a badass, I just got tired of being pushed around. Same thing. We finished the wine, made plans for Thursday garden club, life returning to normal rhythms. Tuesday wine, Thursday gardening. The way it used to be, the way it should be. Tom Chen called that week. Quarterly review, except we'd moved to monthly meetings now, my request. I wanted to understand my money, where it was, where it went, what it meant. Linda, you're my most engaged client now, Tom said at his office. Coffee between us, portfolio reports spread out. You ask more questions than anyone. Check balances weekly. I've never seen someone track every transaction so carefully. Is that bad? It's smart. You're taking control. After what Ryan did, this is exactly what you should be doing. The numbers were improving. Credit score climbing slowly. 640 now, up from 580. The fraudulent accounts closed. Identity theft flags placed. New accounts with dual signature requirements. Tom and I both had to approve any major transaction. Retirement funds rebuilding, Tom explained. With Ryan's payments coming in, plus your pension, plus the settlement damages, you'll be back to where you were in about 4 years. Maybe sooner if market conditions improve. 4 years. I'd be 72. Not ideal, but survivable. And you're doing the financial literacy workshops now? Tom asked. Susan mentioned it. Starting next month. County Elder Services asked me to speak, share my story, help other seniors recognize warning signs. Tom smiled. Genuine. Proud. Jim would be proud of you, Linda. You turned this nightmare into something that helps people. That meant more than he knew. Susan Walsh invited me to lunch the following week. Her treat. Nice restaurant downtown, the kind with cloth napkins and 3 forks. I don't usually socialize with clients, Susan said over salad, but your case was special. You were special. Most people in your situation give up, accept the loss, stay silent because they're ashamed. I had good help. You, Tom, Detective Rodriguez, Margaret, Sarah. I didn't do this alone. No, but you had the courage to start. That's the hardest part. Making that first call, sending that first email. A lot of people never get there. Susan told me about the other cases she'd taken since mine. 2 more elder financial abuse situations. Both women who'd heard about my case through the court system grapevine. Both reached out because I'd fought and won. You started something, Susan said. A precedent. Other victims see that it's possible, that the system works if you're willing to use it. I hadn't thought about it that way. I'd just been trying to protect Sarah, protect myself, get our money back. The DA's office is using your case in training now, Susan continued, teaching prosecutors how to build elder financial abuse cases. Your documentation, Sarah's evidence collection, that's the gold standard now. We finished lunch, exchanged phone numbers, personal ones, not just professional. Stay in touch, Susan said. Let me know how the workshops go. And Linda, don't be a stranger. You're not just a case file to me. Life was rebuilding in other ways too. Sarah moved into her own apartment in February. Small 1-bedroom, 20 minutes from my house. She'd insisted on doing it herself. No help from me beyond the security deposit. And that was Sarah's money anyway. from the settlement payments. "I need to prove I can do this," she'd said when I offered furniture. "Stand on my own, make my own choices." I understood. After 8 years of Ryan controlling everything, she needed independence. She gave me a key, though, 2 copies on a keychain, little sunflower charm, her favorite flower. "In case of emergency, Mom," or, just to visit. I added it to my key ring, next to my house key, my car key, Margaret's house key from years ago. Keys to places I belonged, places I was welcome, physical proof of connection. Sarah was dating someone new. David, a nurse from her hospital. Cardiac unit, different floor. She'd mentioned him cautiously at Sunday dinner, our new ritual weekly at my house. "He knows about Ryan," Sarah said. "I told him on the second date. Figured, get it out there. He said his sister went through something similar. He understands. Doesn't push. Doesn't ask about things. I'm not ready to share." "How do you feel?" "Scared, hopeful, both." She smiled. Small smile. Real. "Therapy's helping. I'm learning to trust my gut again, to spot red flags, to believe I deserve better." "You do deserve better." "I know. Took me 6 months to really believe it, but I do now." My estate planning got updated in March. New attorney. Different from Susan, specialization in trusts and wills. Wanted everything bulletproof. Ryan's name, removed entirely. Every document, every contingency, every backup plan. Sarah, primary beneficiary, primary executor, primary power of attorney for healthcare and finances. Mark, my son in California, backup for everything. Flew out for the signing, first visit in 2 years. Spent 3 days helping me organize paperwork, install new financial software, set up fraud alerts. "Mom, I'm sorry I wasn't here when this happened," Mark said before leaving. "I should have been paying attention. Should have visited more." "You have your own life, your family. That's okay." "Still, I'm checking in more now. Weekly calls, monthly visits if I can manage it. You shouldn't have to handle things alone." The changes were everywhere. Small, significant. I balance my checkbook every Saturday now, not because I had to, because I wanted to. Understanding every line, where money came from, where it went, why. For the first time in 40 years of managing finances, even through marriage, widowhood, budgeting for Sarah's college, I actually understood my money, not just tracked it, understood it. The workshop started in April. County elder services, senior centers, church groups. I'd speak for 30 minutes, share my story. Name changed in materials for privacy, but face-to-face with real people. Explained the warning signs, showed the documentation process, answered questions. "How did you know it was theft and not just confusion?" one woman asked, 70-something. Reminded me of myself a year ago. I tracked it, wrote it down, compared what I remembered authorizing versus what actually happened. The numbers didn't match. If something feels wrong, document it. Date, amount, what you were told. Paper trail matters. 3 women approached me after that first workshop. Quietly. Similar stories. Adult children. Caregivers. Even one case like mine. Son-in-law with financial access. I thought I was the only one, a woman named Patricia whispered. 72. Shaking hands. I thought I was going crazy. "You're not crazy, and you're not alone." I gave her Susan's card. Tom's card. Detective Rodriguez's direct line. Resources I wished I'd had sooner. Patricia called me a month later, crying. Happy tears. Her son had agreed to repayment plan. $28,000 over 3 years. No criminal charges. He had addiction issues, getting treatment, but acknowledgement, restitution, boundaries. "You showed me I wasn't crazy," Patricia said, "that I could fight back, that the system would listen." That's why I kept doing the workshops, why I said yes when Elder Services asked for more, why I was developing a handbook with Susan, step-by-step guide for financial abuse victims. My pain had purpose now. It could prevent someone else's. Sunday dinner became routine. Me, Sarah, sometimes Mark when he visited, sometimes Margaret, my dining table. Real food, not evidence boxes. Chinese takeout. Mark always ordered too much. Or my pot roast. Or Margaret's famous lasagna. Sarah laughed at something Mark said. Actual laugh. Not forced, not careful. Free. I didn't realize how much I'd missed that sound until I heard it again. We were rebuilding. Slowly. Imperfectly. Some days harder than others. But rebuilding. Payment number 6 arrived in June. On time. Every payment had been on time. $1,490 like clockwork. Ryan was complying, staying away, keeping his end of the deal. I deposited it. Watch Sarah's fund grow. Almost $9,000 now. Her emergency cushion, her safety net, her future. That counted for something. 6 months after the settlement. Late summer now. Saturday morning. My kitchen table. Coffee brewing. No evidence boxes. Just me and the newspaper. Crossword puzzle. Normal. Sarah visits every Sunday for dinner. This week she's bringing David. 3rd time he's joined us. Good sign. Margaret comes Tuesday evenings, alternating between my house and hers. We planted roses together this spring. 3 bushes in my front yard. 1 for me, 1 for Sarah, 1 for Jim's memory. They're blooming now. Pink flowers, bright against green leaves. Margaret says they're survivors. I think she's talking about more than roses. Tom and I still meet monthly. I check my balances weekly, ask questions about every fee, every transaction. He calls me his most engaged client now. I'm not sure if that's good or exhausting for him, but it's my money. I'm paying attention. Payment 17 arrived last week, $1,490. On time, like always. Ryan's been compliant, stays away, follows the rules. Smart choice. I deposit each payment into Sarah's fund. She's got over $25,000 now. Uses some for therapy costs, some for apartment expenses. Most she's saving. Building her own security, her own future. Independent. My credit score hit 680 last month. Still recovering, but getting there. The retirement fund's rebuilding. Won't be where it was for another 3 years, but I'll be okay. My pension covers basics. Ryan's payments help. And I'm careful now, watchful. Nobody gets access without dual signatures. Nobody. The workshops continue. I speak twice a month at senior centers across the county. Share what happened. My name changed in the materials for privacy, but my story real. Show the warning signs. Explain the documentation process. 7 women have reached out since April. 7 women who thought they were alone, who thought they were going crazy, who didn't know where to start. I gave them resources. Contact information for Susan, Tom, Detective Rodriguez, step-by-step guidance. 3 of them have recovered money. Not all of it. Never all of it, but enough. Enough to feel like they fought back. Like they mattered. Like the system listened. That's why I keep doing it. Why I'm writing the handbook with Susan. Why I say yes when Elder Services asks for more workshops. My pain has purpose now. It prevents someone else's. People ask me, how did you not see it? How did you trust him? I trusted family. I thought son-in-law meant son. Thought calling me mom meant something. Thought 8 years of Sunday dinners and lawn mowing and computer help meant loyalty. But trust shouldn't be blind. Trust needs questions, verification, especially with money, especially with legal documents. Those red flags I ignored. Sarah getting quieter. Ryan always needing money. Expensive lifestyle despite struggling business. My gut knew something was wrong. I didn't listen. So I'm listening now. Teaching Sarah to listen. Telling you, listen. If you're a parent, check your credit report annually. Know who has access to your accounts. Ask questions about large withdrawals. Don't accept, I'll pay you back without documentation. If your adult child's partner is helping with finances, get a second opinion, professional opinion. Accountant, financial advisor, lawyer, someone outside the family who has no emotional investment. If you're being hurt, physically, financially, emotionally, tell someone, anyone, doctor, neighbor, police, lawyer. Don't wait like Sarah did. Don't hide like I did. Shame keeps victims silent. Silence keeps abusers safe. And if you're the person causing harm, stop. Get help, real help, before you destroy families, before you destroy yourself. Gambling addiction, substance abuse, mental health struggles, those explain behavior. They don't excuse it. Get treatment. Make amends. Change. I don't know what I expected when I opened that door at 2 a.m., but I know what I found. Strength I didn't know I had. Boundaries I should have set sooner. A daughter who survived. Friends who showed up. A system that, when used properly, actually works. We're rebuilding. Slowly. Some days harder than others. Together. What would you have done if someone you trusted stole from you while hurting someone you love? If you discovered family wasn't what you thought? Let me know in the comments. And if you see warning signs, yours or someone else's, don't wait. Act, document, get help. You're not alone. You're not crazy, and you deserve protection. I look at my garden now, those 3 rose bushes Margaret and I planted, blooming, pink flowers bright against green leaves. We survived, Sarah and me. We didn't just survive, we grew. Some days I still can't believe it happened, that someone I trusted, someone I called family, could do that. But we're here, we're standing, we're building something better. That counts for something.